Hey all, welcome to Flutter Developers Bootcamp. In this bootcamp, we will be learning Flutter from scratch. Now, what is Flutter? Flutter is a tool that allows us to build native cross-platform apps. Cross-platform being iOS, Android, macOS, Windows, Linux, Web, and IoT. Now, IoT is a whole slew of devices. For example, Raspberry Pi, your Samsung smart fridge, or any other smart device that has a processor in it. Now, important is Flutter is a tool, which means Flutter bundles an SDK, a framework, or a widget library. Now, the SDK compiles your uh, code into native cross-platform language. For example, zeros and ones, binary code. And the library that bundles with it comes with some reusable widget, for example, packages, buttons, and app bars. Now, what is Dart? Dart is the programming language that we'll be using to build our Flutter apps. Dart is an OOP language, which means it is an object-oriented programming language, which comes with a C-style syntax. For example, if you have ever used JavaScript, Java, and C#, you should see some familiarity between Dart and those. Now, Dart was originally made as a UI-optimized language, which means Dart could be used to develop UI fast and rapidly. Now, two things to keep in mind. Dart is independent of Flutter, which means you can run Dart on server. Next, the Flutter architecture. Something that you should be aware before you start Flutter. Flutter is extremely straightforward, which means it is UI as code. There is no drag and drop. For example, if you have ever used Wix or Squarespace, there is no drag and drop option to build your apps, which means you have to code everything from scratch. Now, the good thing about Flutter is, although it is just one code base, for example, you write your code once, but you can specify inside your code what different platform shows. For example, I could have two different app bars for iOS and Android. Now, the Flutter architecture has an important concept, that is, widgets are everything. For example, if we see in this slide, the dummy app that we see here has an app bar, and the app bar has a search icon, a title, and a menu button. All of those singularly are widgets. Also, them being bundled inside the app bar together makes one whole widget. Now, similarly, everything that you see, including the whole page, is a widget. Now, this is something that you should remember at all times when you will be building Flutter apps. Everything that you see on the screen are widgets. Even the whole page is a widget. The entire app is built as a widget tree, which means you start your app with one widget and then it gradually expands. For example, the material app will be our root widget, and then on top of it you could have scaffold. After that you could have many different pages, for example, cart page, product page, admin page, etc. Now, this diagram gives us a vague idea of how Flutter works. Flutter API, Application Programming Interface, takes your Dart code and passes it to Flutter SDK, which translates your code into zeros and ones, which in turn Android, iOS, and all other devices could understand. Now, the Flutter version. You will see soon, Flutter comes with some version number. For example, Flutter 2.5.1. These version numbers do change frequently, which means they optimize Flutter rapidly. They include some bug fixes, some small improvements, and under the hood changes. Now, Flutter and material design. Something to keep in mind, Flutter, being a product of Google, ships with Google's material design. You get to use the Google material design for both iOS and Android, and the material bundle ships a whole lot of different items for you. For example, icons, colors, fonts, etc. Now, who am I and why should you learn from me? Привет, which was Russian for hi. I'm Numay Manashik. Now, why should you learn from me? I was hired by the ICT division of Bangladesh to teach Flutter in a bootcamp. Also, things that might be interesting regarding me. I consider myself to be a hardcore gamer, a PC builder, and a petrol head. Now, the link that you see here, if you copy it and put it on your link bar on any browser, should take you to my GitHub profile, Here's the GitHub profile. You could come here and go to my YouTube, my LinkedIn. Also, you can see my older repositories, the projects that I have made. So this will be it for this video. In the next video, we will install Flutter, and on the other consecutive videos, we will start building app. Until then, peace.